The UOS. We wanted something that any art could use. It didn't have to be Pramek. It could be any art. And it goes back to when I first started off back in the early 2000s trying to build all of this, that we had this concept of theory plus movement equals application, which is in the first manual that I wrote, the k-sys manual. The challenge with that model is that it's a very good teaching model. It's not a good action model to actually do anything with it. Has way too many moving parts. And we started to realize that the more that we taught, we were starting to techniquify things that didn't need to be techniquified. We were techniquifying a lever, we were techniquifying the wedge, we were techniquifying human equilibrium. And so soon people were copying our movement instead of learning the theory, and they were just creating applications which were inefficient or ineffective, or they just didn't need to exist. So the thing that we tried to do was look at how do we create something with all this theory that any martial art can use. And I don't remember how the term actually came up. It was, universal operating system. I was probably looking at an Apple phone and I saw OS. I thought, oh man, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I just want to take this theory and then make some things with movement so that anybody can use it. It doesn't matter the art. And that's how you end up at the UOS. It is an operating system. It's the way that we look at the world. When you look at the 7 sciences, and we talk about the 7 sciences because the people that understand the 7 sciences have an unfair advantage over anybody that they're going to face, anybody that they're going to deal with. Because if you understand, how somebody moves, you understand how to move them. If you understand the baggage that somebody shows up with through their neurology, you understand the habits they've developed over time, then you understand what to do to, take advantage in combat of those. Versus psychology, if you understand someone's psychology, you understand how they communicate with you, then it helps you to have better communication. So it didn't matter what the art was or what the situation was. We just wanted something anybody could use, and that became the UOS. So, to start with the UOS, which everybody always asks me, how do I start with it? It's the package. You start off with your movement and controlling and refining your movement, because the UOS was about creating a thought process that we looked at everything through those eyes. We looked at here's the solution that I want to get to. I want to, I'm not looking at the problem, I'm looking at the solution. Here's the solution. I'm going to work my way backwards using this theory and using my movement to manifest the theory to create this solution. And so the first thing that you have to do is that a book is useless without someone to read it. So your movement is the first thing that you have to start to refine and control and understand your movement. Then you start to move to the mechanics and the physics side of it, that you're looking at, okay, how does a lever work? How does a wedge work? How does the screw work? How do these different concepts work within what I'm trying to accomplish using this theory? So those videos are a real deep dive into the theory behind what actually happens in mechanical interactions with other people in combat. Then you look at human equilibrium or combative rotation. Now you're taking concepts that are universal to all body types. It doesn't matter who you are, you have a center mass. It doesn't matter who you are, you rotate. You physically rotate. And so now you start to look at that theory and how to apply it in a combative situation. If you look at the video function, function's the same thing. You're looking at the kinematics of the body, and you're looking at how to apply forces to the body to damage the body. So that's where you really start off with the UOS. Then once you have that down, that's when you start to look at the other areas. You go to a seminar. Once you have this theory and you have the movement and you're creating these solutions, you come to a seminar and you start to understand, being taught by myself or one of our instructors, okay, this is how I actually do it, because there is a tendency to techniquify the things that you're doing because you'll reinforce your own habits because they're successful. So you come to a seminar and you start to really understand what's going on and how to apply these 7 sciences to your movement to create this application.